Practice was good. You know, I'm happy to see that we're just, you know, focused and paying attention to detail. You know, we're still doing a lot of managing with their legs, and, you know, you're getting into the latter part of the season, but you still got to get better at stuff. You still got to get up and down, and we had a good showing from our scout guys. So I thought we were good. I thought we were competitive and, you know, just getting ready to go.
You got a big weekend, you know, big road trip, both you and I, and then, of course, the rivalry game on Sunday against Drake. Just how's the team looking headed into these two big games?
Good. I mean, you know, road games are hard, and then road games against your, you know, rivalries or people that are at the top of the conference are hard too. And you and I, even though their record doesn't really show how good they are right now in conference, they play really well at home. So it's going to be a very competitive game. They shoot the ball way better at home. They got their big kid Moss back, number 50. She didn't play against us last time, so they're different. They have a different look for a team than the team that we played earlier. But Drake is, I mean, I take it one game at a time, but, you know, obviously Drake is Drake, and that's always going to be high emotions, and, you know, with the rivalry game, and they're good, you know, and they're trying to get back where they want to be because they dropped one the other night. So, you know, it's going to be two competitive games. I'm really happy that we have some fan buses going, because we're going to need that.
And Mox, with you and I winning 8 straight at home and Drake 16 straight, what's important for the Lady Bears to do to kind of take maybe their crowd out of it and get your crowd into it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really think that we get rattled by crowds. I mean, earlier we were road warriors and, you know, in the non-conference, but we just got to create our own energy. You know, obviously the home team usually goes on powerful runs because they have, you know, the fans behind them, just like we've had here. So when that happens, you just got to weather the storm, whether it's, you know, we just get a big bucket, timeout needs to be called, whatever it is, but we just got to control the environment. But, you know, I just want us to stick to us and just controlling our own destiny, not worrying about anybody else. We got to play our style of basketball, stick to the game plan, and I think we'll be all right.
Coach, just back in sole possession of first place in the Valley, just how much growth have you seen from the team since the early part of the conference schedule?
Yeah, a lot of maturity and a lot of growth. You know, I think those first 5 games, those were all wake-up calls for us, I think, especially the SIU loss. But, you know, those first 5 games, we were really complacent, just coming off of a strong non-conference. I think our players just thought the Valley was going to be a lot easier than it is. And there's so much parity in it this year. And, you know, teams are competitive, and we got that big old huge target on our back, so everybody wants to beat us. So I'm seeing more consistency in leadership and in practice than I did in those first 5 games of Valley play. So our team is just maturing. You know, they're starting to really, you know, taste championship type, you know, feels, and also just keeping their eyes on the prize. Like, we all want to be cutting down nets at the end of the season multiple times if we can. So I think they're just starting to get that hunger back for that.
Just what's your message to the players, just with all the movement in the standings?
Control our own destiny. And I say it all the time. We have to control our own destiny, meaning this conference is competitive, and they're going to continue to beat up on each other. And I don't want to be in that mix. You know, I want them to beat up on each other, but us just kind of sit right there at the top. And the way you do that is how you prepare and how you practice consistently. You have leadership, upperclassmen step up, and, you know, we just attack each game no matter who we're playing. You know, it doesn't matter if they're the last place team or the first place team in conference. Well, not first place, we are. Second place team in conference. We have to have the same intensity and same urgency, especially on the defensive end.
So when you saw that result that Southern Illinois beat Bradley the other day to get sole possession, was there any feeling of like, thank you guys for doing that, or do you like having, or do you just not want them focusing on kind of that cushion that you guys kind of have right now?
Well, no, we talked about it, and, you know, they did us a favor. You know, especially when Drake lost too, they did us a favor with that. But we can't, like, get complacent or comfortable with that. I mean, we have to go on the road and play some of these teams. You know, we got to play Drake and UNI obviously on the road. We got to play Illinois State and Bradley again on the road. So we got some hard road games coming up. So we can't we can't think that we've done something. There's a lot of season left. So I think it was great that we were sole first place, but at the same time, there's so much stuff that can happen. You know, like, there's everybody has to play each other again, and we have some hard road games. So, you know, my message was, it's exciting. We're on top where we should be, where I felt like we should be the whole time, and we're playing, you know, with that kind of urgency. But at the same time, we got to be focused, because going on the road is hard no matter where you go. And then again, to some of the top teams in our conference.
Coach, this might be media jargon, but I mean, in regard to not overlooking UNI in anticipation for Drake, kind of a letdown game, if you will. Do you bring that up at all just to discuss it, or?
No, because even just from our first exhibition game with Lincoln, we prepare the same way. Like, there's always going to be a scouting report. We're always going to be detail oriented. We prepare the same way in practice. So it doesn't matter. That's been my message to them. They didn't really click until after the SIU loss, I think. But it doesn't matter who's on the front of the jersey. So UNI is the next game, and they play well at home. So I don't think that we would even come close to overlooking them, because traditionally they've been well. They've done well in this conference, but also just recently they've picked up some good wins there, and they got that kid back, Moss. So I think our players are locked in. I think they know that we gotta take care of business first before we get to Drake.
As far as game planning, similarities between the two opponents are vastly different.
There's some similarities in some of the offense they run with their 4-out, 5-out cutters, stuff like that. But Drake is different. I mean, Drake plays that zone, matchup zone. They also have Becca Hittner, where they run a ton of things for her, back screens from the high post, all kinds of stuff like that. So they're, I guess, similar in the sense that they have versatile players, especially at the 4 position, that can shoot the 3, drive it. They're similar in that regard, but UNI is more of a set team, where Drake has like kind of motion stuff going on.
You've been asked a lot about Bryce Caleb, but another accolade for her last week. I mean, just continues to impress you, I would imagine, on and off the court.
Yeah, and I'm happy she's getting recognized again for her talents, because Bryce does so much for us. I mean, obviously you can see the numbers. Just offensively, she's now becoming more facilitator. Now she's playing more point and getting people involved, but also knowing when to get downhill and kind of take over. But defensively is where, to me, she's the best defensive player in the conference, for sure, and one of the best probably in the country. But to me, I think that gets overlooked. She guards the best player on the team, on the opposing team every game, and we got people that come in and spell her, but like that's her role, and she really takes pride in that role. But then also she has a lot of intangibles too, just her leadership and just her God-given ability to be a commanding presence. I mean, our team really looks to her. They think she's mentally strong, physically strong, which she is, and she just is a good leader. So Bryce does a lot, and I'm just happy to see her, get recognized, and I know she's going to get some more of those accolades, in the future here.
Would you label her as the leader right now on the team? I know. Last year it was all Danielle being the only senior, but is she kind of the one that stepped up?
Well, we have different leaders. Obviously Willie and Abby are our captains, right? So they do a lot of communication, being liaisons with the coaching staff. Bryce is, to me, the most commanding presence we have, and she leads by example. She's a hard worker. She's tough, mentally and physically, plays through a lot, but she doesn't always, she's not always vocal, I guess you could say. But when she is, it commands the whole team. And everybody listens to her right away. So she is somebody who can just kind of get the team together. It doesn't have to be a lot of words. Sometimes people talk a lot, but Wayne, we gotta play defense right now, and everybody's locked in, that kind of thing. So we also have Jasmine, who's like an emotional or energy leader, so we have different leaders on the team, and I think that's what makes it great, because everybody's just kind of buying into their role. But she's the one that I think, if I'm getting on the team, she may huddle them up and get them right. That's Bryce,
Another player who's stepped up, especially recently, is Sydney Wilson. Started 5 of the last 7. Just what have you liked from her?
Wilson's playing great. Obviously she's another great defensive player. She guards, she guards post players, she guards anybody, and she's just really good at doing that. But where she's becoming more comfortable is offensively. She's always been able to shoot the ball or rip and drive or whatever, even make some great passes, high-low passes in there. But just, for her to kind of get her confidence going with that in the last maybe 2 weeks or so, she's really helping us, because teams don't want to play against her. She's a lockdown defender. She's long, she's athletic, and then now she's knocking down the 3 at a high clip, and she's been really consistent this year, so I'm proud of what we're getting from her.
In the game notes that Ben put together, thank you, Ben, we do read them. Friday is going to be the 1,500th game in Lady Bear program history, most wins in the Valley, and also the 34th most wins in the NCAA. It's been a while since we've asked you this, just because of game in and game out, but sitting back now, what's it like to be a Lady Bear and represent Missouri State?
Oh man, it's amazing. There's so much history here. And I talk to and keep in touch with, some of the greats, like, Jackie Stiles, obviously, but Coach Burnett, we talk a lot, and, I don't know, just to be, a part of that, and also being a part of a team that could possibly make history if we were to, get ourselves in a position to host for the first time ever in a school program. It's just amazing. It's an amazing feeling. I just think that, people that really know basketball around the country, because even before I came here, I'd never been on campus here, but I knew all about Missouri State, all about the history. So just to be a part of that, and say I'm you know, the head coach here is pretty amazing, you know, and also the kids, they're just really, really good kids, and I just think historically through this program, there's been a lot of great character kids that have come through. I mean, that's kind of the staple here. So I'm just proud to be a Lady Bear.
It's more than just being a part of the history. You're about to kind of set it. You're currently tied for the most wins by a first-year Lady Bear head coach. One more puts you in the most. Just what has this experience been like in your first year to see this kind of team, this kind of program, this kind of success?
Yeah, I mean, it's been awesome. I just think, you know, Tom mentioned that to me on the radio, and it's not about me, and that's what kind of person I am. So when he said that to me, he was like, you should be happy. And I'm like, oh, I mean, I am happy. It's a great, you know, accomplishment, but at the same time, there's a lot of season left, and I want to, you know, help this team get to reach their dreams and goals. You know, when I first got here in the summer, you know, obviously they're coming off the Sweet 16. I was like, well, individually, I met with them, and individually they gave me their goals, and individually they gave me goals that they want to see our team reach, you know, team goals. So I take that serious, you know, and this is where you guys want to be, and it's obviously, you know, it goes hand in hand with my goals too for the team. But so I just want to help this team reach that and just see, you know, these girls continue to enjoy the journey.
How are you feeling about those chances for top 16 seed right now? I know the first reveal came the other day, you guys weren't on them. Just kind of your thoughts on what you guys got to do to get in that.
I mean, honestly, I think we would have to win out to be a top 16 seed. I think we had a really good shot of doing that before the SIU game. They dropped us down to, I think, a 6 seed right now. But if we show that we can, you know, be competitive and win out game by game, you know, we just take it one game at a time, I think we'll have a chance to be in there. You know, because we still have some really good RPI teams to beat on our schedule. So, you know, we go down there and we get UNI and Drake, that's going to boost us even more. And then Illinois State and Bradley have pretty good RPIs. And, you know, so we just have to keep controlling our own destiny. I keep saying it. And just make sure we do what we're supposed to do to help ourselves get in that position.
Do you ever get like frustrated by the fact that because Missouri State's a mid-major, it's hard to overcome some of those, I guess, outsiders' opinions of where you guys should be ranked? I mean, is that, when you look at the polls, is it like, oh my gosh, can we just get a break?
Yeah, you know, and that's the mid-major effect a little bit. But I mean, I'm just happy that we're in the rankings, but you know, our RPI is pretty good, still really good. I just thought when we dropped out after the SIU loss, I thought that was a little premature, you know, to drop that many spots when there was other teams in there that had lost to people that we had beaten, and you know, there's just a lot of factors, and you know, I just think that you have to be almost perfect as a mid-major to continue to just stay in the top 25 or even just RPI stay up there. So sometimes it gets frustrating, but at the same time, I know that side of the game, and I know that we just need to stay focused on what we're trying to do. So when we dropped off, I mean, obviously out of the AP poll for that 1 week, you know, the team was disappointed, and you know, I was disappointed, but you know, I was like, if we just continue to do what we're supposed to do and, you know, attack each game the same, we'll get back in there, you know. But I thought it would take a little bit longer, but I was happy to see that, you know, they came to their senses a little bit with that. But, you know, our team has a lot to prove. Again, I just think that, you know, we are overlooked a little bit, and it was because of a little bit of inconsistency in the beginning of the conference play. I mean, going in overtime at Loyola, kind of a close one at Valpo, closer. You know, obviously losing to SIU, I think people, you know, were starting to kind of question if we're as good as we, you know, showed in the non-conference. So I'm just happy that our team has refocused and we're on a good track right now.
All told, though, probably not the worst thing for a team to kind of carry that chip on their shoulder, like, this, you want to disrespect us, we'll go beat you anywhere.
Exactly, and you know, obviously we didn't have anybody on preseason all conference. We talked about that. But to be recognizing a lot of our players right now, like Bryce has gotten Player of the Week, Jazz got it twice, Willie's gotten it once, shows you that we have great players on our team. So I just want them, you know, like, we don't even focus on individual accolades like that. We focus on the team, but if you continue to focus and everybody does their role, those individual accolades are going to come, you know, because we're just talented enough. So I'm just proud of them and, you know, how they're just buying in and committing to their teammates.
I heard you talked at the breakfast, one of your breakfasts recently, about the end of that SIU game when there were 8 players on the court. Just what do you think should have happened there? Just when there was a second left and players came off the bench. Just what was your?
I mean, by rule that should be a technical, but at the end of the day, we played a terrible game that game. You know, SIU played a great game. Not taking any credit away from them, but we played a terrible game. So I don't even really want to, because it's almost like you're making an excuse, you know, so I don't even really want to get into that. But, there was, because there was a lot of people that were bringing that up to us. Did you guys know there was 8 people on the court? So I addressed it at the breakfast, but honestly, that game was lost for us, I would think, in the first half. So, we tried to fight back at the end of it, but, it was just not a good game for us. But I think that had to happen, honestly. If we didn't lose that SIU game, I don't think we would be in the position we are now, because we were too complacent. We weren't really playing with that urgency and that competitiveness. So I hate that it's on our schedule for a loss, but we needed that to propel us a little bit.